Standing in front of you now is, Board of Directors of Duan Company, founder of Rainbow Rocket Team, Reverse Attribute Master, World Championship Champion. Legendary trainer Lu Yi recalls the scene during his first live broadcast and sighs deeply. Speaking of which, you may not believe it. My initial wish was just to break through 100,000 subscriptions and show my face. I just want to spend some money and start as a Game Zone Up host. I really don't want to be a trainer. This book is also known as Lu Yi of the 5th Division. Adolescent trainers will not dream of the divine Olympian champion. Miss Julan wants me to confess, becoming a world champion starting from the anchor, integrating worldview, parallel worlds plus animation, game settings plus special edition, keywords. Pokémon, 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 Pet Elves, special edition. Keywords of the novel. I really don't want to be a trainer. No pop-ups, I really don't want to be a trainer. Download the full text. I really don't want to be a trainer. Read the latest chapters. Chapter 1. Adults, times have changed, seeking recommended tickets. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. Adults, times have changed, seeking recommended tickets. Ding Lingling. Lu Yi opened his sleepy eyes and stared at the ceiling, yawning long. Another ordinary day. It was the weekend, and the Pikachu alarm clock by the bedside displayed 12 noon, but Lu Yi didn't wake up until then. Arriving at the bathroom and taking advantage of the water gap, Lu Yi took some time to order takeout. Dujali Kuaisho, Big Mouth Gull Fresh. Now merchants are becoming more and more creative in naming. Several newly opened stores are all named after Pokémon, which makes Lu Yi feel very friendly. Look, what is called the world's #1 IP? Tactical tilt back. Without much thought, Lu Yi casually ordered the 29.9 yuan scallion duck restaurant set meal, with complimentary pancakes, and set his phone aside to start washing up. Wow! Pick up a handful of water and splash it on your face. What appears in the mirror is a tall and handsome young man in the ancient Greek style. The young man had messy hair and was wearing thick black circles under his eyes, which made his gaze even more profound. This can't help but make people sigh. Handsome people even have dark circles under their eyes like natural silkworms. It really has a strong sense of immersion. After washing up, Lu Yi returned to his rented compartment and comfortably lay down in the esports chair. Turn on the computer, enter the password Sakurajima Mai, and Pikachu's dynamic screensaver suddenly lights up. Pikachu. Lu Yi skillfully opened Bilibili and searched for today's dinner video. As a freshman at Mordo University, I am also a part-time up manager in the game area of Bilibili. Lu Yi specializes in editing and commenting on Pokémon battles on Bilibili. With its unique style and professional knowledge, it has attracted nearly 100,000 fans. Although Lu Yi himself is also a high-end player in game battles, he has reached the 7th highest ranking in the world. But his face was extremely dark, and he even had the famous scene of water cannon triple miss. This is also why Lu Yi is always mocked by the audience for cooking. Live streaming while making videos, so Lu Yi rented a house outside the school and only went to the campus during class. Lu Yi browsed the homepage and murmured, there are so many Pokémon content recommendations on the homepage today. Has the popularity of Pokémon increased again? Out of the 10 recommended videos on the homepage, 8 of them are actually related to elves. Belgalis. Look what we found, a wild green caterpillar, suggested change to Water Splash Jump, Huanong. Brothers, trees and fruits are ripe, go up the mountain to pick some. The content on today's homepage is not quite right. What kind of ghost is a green caterpillar? Its protein is 6 times that of beef. And there are also tree fruits, not just orange fruits or grapefruit fruits, right? Lu Yi scratched his head and turned to the game area in mist, suddenly widening his eyes. The battle video I posted last night was actually directly ranked first in the game area. Lu Yi swallowed his saliva and clicked on the video called Teacher Lu Teaches You Battle 03. Defending Poison for You. Take a deep breath. Playback volume, 120W. DNMD, I'm cracking open. Cover notice. Once you've learned, go and align with the Taoist master. Please be a person. After being stunned for a while, Lu Yi happily brushed through the barrage, but a hint of doubt arose in his heart. Substituting for drug defense is clearly a very basic tactic. Why did it suddenly become popular? Can it be that some game district boss flipped over my brand? But I haven't been doing much PY trading lately. Rubbing his chin, Lu Yi pulled down to the comments section. In the comments section, a level 6 authentication account with the ID Combat Man provides detailed information on the tactics of replacing poison. Combat Man, substitute poison defense, refers to the spirit that learns the 3 moves of poison, stand in, and defend, and uses them as the core tactic of the system. In battles, trainers need to have strong adaptability on the spot in order to proficiently apply this tactic. The UP host has already explained in detail about this tactical approach. Grass and poison trainers have a natural advantage and can study diligently according to this tutorial. Above, thank you to the UP host for bringing such a high-quality tutorial. P.S. It seems like I sent it to the wrong zone. It would be better to send it to the opposite theater. After reading this long review, a big question mark appeared in Lu Ye's mind. What is a war zone? When did Bilibili launch the battle section? Below are replies. Master Ball Capture, Sleeping Slot, it's actually a real person, Chi Bao, Mom loves you. Scratching his head, Lu Yi gave a thumbs up to the comment on Battle Man and casually clicked on his homepage. In an instant, a drop of cold sweat fell from Lu Ye's forehead. Famous UP hosts in the theater, champions of the 9th Quartz Conference, and champions of the World Masters. Lu Yi stuttered and couldn't even speak fluently. Red. You must be joking, isn't Crimson the warrior in the special section? How could he be the Bilibili UP master? Clicking on the Crimson Atlas reveals a young man in his 20s with a sunny smile. Wearing a red hat, wearing a black vest and a red vest, with a furry Pikachu standing on his shoulder. If it were COS, it would be 10 times more similar than the crimson color that Lu Yi had imagined. And this real version of Pikachu is very cute, and it is exactly the same as the one in The Great Detective. Lu Yi is completely foolish. Don't panic when encountering things, calm down. The incident happened when I woke up in the morning and found that my video suddenly became popular, and a big shot even appeared in the comments section. The big shot is the world champion, the protagonist in the elf world, Crimson. Ha! Isn't this analysis enough to fully understand? I understand what's going on. Did I travel through time, or did the world go wrong? Is it possible that even Crimson has come to become the UP host, as the world's timeline has been tightened? Lu Yi has received professional training and can accept any absurd thing. But this just as Lu Ye's brain was down, the phone suddenly rang. Hello, your takeout has arrived. Come to the window to pick it up. Oh, good. Lu Yi walked to the window and suddenly remembered that this was the 6th floor. The 6th floor asked me to come to the window to pick it up. Are you planning to use BB Bird to deliver my meal? Suddenly, a black shadow passed by, and a large bird with bright fur and flowing feathers stopped at the window. Its long beak was still holding a packaging bag, and it smiled and waved its wings at Lu Yi. Lu Yi is as stiff as a wooden chicken. The delivery man shouted at the bottom of the building. Remember to give a good review, dear. Lu Yi has forgotten how he took delivery from BB Bird's mouth. He only remembers outside the window, swarms of waves flying through the sky, walking grass stumbling in the flower beds of the residential area downstairs, leaving behind the agile figure of a fiery horse on the elevated road. My landlord was leading an orange-haired, black-striped Katy dog through the neighborhood, smiling and waving at Lu Yi. Elf world, blending with reality. Lu Yi was stunned for a while, looked up at the sky, only feeling that his eyes were slightly moist. 18 years, a full 18 years. I finally waited until this day. New book upload, request recommendation ticket. End of this chapter. 2, Chapter 2. It is impossible to become a trainer in this lifetime, seeking recommendation tickets. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. It's impossible to be a trainer in this lifetime, please ask for a recommendation ticket. After calming down, Lu Yi went online to collect relevant information. First, we need to figure out what the world has become. Due to the constriction of the world line, the world in which Hino resides is merged with the world of elves. But it seems that only Lu Yi realized this. Even historical textbooks have undergone changes. According to the appearance of elves, they can be roughly divided into ancient, medieval, modern, and modern. In ancient times, the number of dreams gradually decreased, and the oldest prehistoric Pokémon were born. In the Middle Ages, meteorites fell into the Fengyuan area, triggering the awakening of the ancient elves, which were eventually subdued by the constellation Cleopatra. In modern times, Dr. Nishino Mori from Yuhong University invented the Pokemon Ball in 1925, marking the beginning of modern Pokemon studies. These are actually mandatory historical courses, Lu Yi said with a strange expression. Even elf history has endless memory points. For example, the Balfam Incense Hall was built in 1700 AD, and the first Pokémon League competition was held in 1896. If it really makes Lu Yi remember one by one, it would be a bit painful. It seems that even in the elf world, being a top student is not so easy. Lu Yi sighed and opened the online high school political compulsory course 3. Due to the emergence of elves, a centralized organization represented by alliances gradually emerged. In this parallel world, Lu Yi is located in the magical city of the Donghuang Alliance. In other regions, there are also Carlos League, United Alliance, and so on, which are exactly the same as what Lu Yi remembers. It seems that the elf world has really merged with reality. Lu Yi was stunned for a long time and let out a long breath. Is it difficult? I also have the opportunity to become a trainer. Becoming an elf trainer has always been Lu Ye's dream. But when Lu Yi went online to collect information, he suddenly hesitated. The mortality rate is so high. In this world, becoming a trainer is by no means an easy task. Mastering multiple foreign languages is just the foundation, with Chinese, Japanese, French, English, and even mandatory languages for trainers. Financial resources, education, resources, and connections are indispensable. The extremely high mortality rate makes trainers classified as high-risk professions, and elf battles even become extreme sports. Compared to other industries, the restrictions of high risk and high threshold make the number of trainers extremely scarce. Of course, the popularity of Pokémon balls is still quite high. The general public can also tame elves, and there are not a few people who love and possess elves. Lu Yi was stunned for a moment, as if suddenly he had a reaction. What kind of trainer? Isn't it fragrant to be a copywriter? Due to the emergence of elves, the cost of special effects in industries such as movies and games has significantly decreased, but the quality of films is indescribable. This commercial film, starring Hachiku, the owner of the United Snowflake Pavilion, and produced by Pokémon Hollywood, is called Hachiku Man. The cliché D plot and template heroism surprisingly made it to the top 250 on Douban. Lu Yi couldn't think of any reason why he wasn't popular anymore. In the field of gaming, due to the parallel world, works that were popular in the past were not able to appear. The most popular game is Pokémon Battle, developed by Fengyuan Duan Company and broadcasted daily by Lu Yi. Pokémon Battle refers to real-life Pokémon battles and uses virtual imaging technology to create a real-time system which has a wide audience. Some trainers and colleges even use this game as a textbook to exercise students' sense of command. Many well-known trainers, including Battleman, Crimson, are loyal users of this game. Due to the limitations of the elf's battle threshold, the various well-known tactics of Lu Yi were not popularized. This is also why relying solely on the strategy of replacing poison, Lu Yi can gain millions of views. It seems that if we don't have time to shoot 2 videos in the future, the top 100 up owners are just around the corner. Based on Lu Yi's understanding of the battle between elves, it is really easy to produce a few million quality videos. But before that, we need to first understand the operating mechanism of Bilibili in this parallel world. Lu Yi continued browsing Bilibili while nibbling on the roasted duck while enjoying the scallions. Unlike in their past lives, the same group of bloggers have become popular on major platforms such as Bilibili, YouTube, Twitch, and Site. For example, the up owner who is currently experiencing a major fire on the oil pipeline, the water system museum owner from the Chaldean Alliance, known as the Black Pearl of Lurina, is also a fire-prone presence at Station B. Slender and agile legs, healthy wheat-colored skin, and in the video, Lurina rides on the Venus, leaping out of the sea with sparkling water splashing. This beautiful scene caught Lu Yi off guard. Surprisingly, it's really Lurina. Just thinking about it, even Crimson has appeared, so should the Taoist master be the same? This photo video is at the top of the fashion section on Bilibili, and the publisher is none other than Lurina herself. In the comments section, there are many talented people emerging. Lurina has taken photos of LV, and my youth has returned. Woo woo, little angel Lulina, mom loves you. Do you call it, like? That's because you crave her body, you're despicable. Following the principle of practice leading to true knowledge, Lu Yi opened the dance area. I thought I would see traditional dance performances in the area, but unfortunately, I saw a man. INS is a popular internet celebrity and the dark-skinned Chaldean dragon owner, Chabana. With a well-proportioned figure and a slightly ruffled aura, Chabana wore an orange headscarf, revealing a cheerful smile and snow-white teeth. Although not as handsome as Lu Yeshui, Chabana has a high popularity on social media due to his dance and dragon-style Taoist master's identity. And in terms of film and television classification, the cover is exactly the promotion of the Hollywood Queen and a new film by Cal Uni. It seems that the profession of up master still has great prospects. Lu Yi murmured. Let's continue the live broadcast tonight and observe for a while before making plans. For the future direction, Lu Yi already has a rough plan. Being a trainer is impossible, it's impossible in this lifetime. Only by writing novels and filming videos can one make a living. Although there is no plan to become a trainer, keeping a few elves as pets still makes Lu Yi very tempted. What kind of elf is good to keep? Since it's not appropriate to confront the war party, Mengmengda must be the first one. Ibrahimovic Pikachu. In the future, I will suck on Ibrahimovic and Pikachu at the same time, wouldn't it be wonderful? The market price of a Pokémon ball is 500 yuan. After counting the balance and considering the incentive of millions of views of videos, Lu Yi still has about 20,000 yuan left. Lu Yi plans to go to the specialized elf shop in the Magic City tomorrow to purchase elf balls. That night, Lu Yi continued to live stream as usual. Due to the fermentation of the video, as soon as Lu Yi started broadcasting, his popularity exceeded 200,000. New book upload, request recommendation ticket. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Dinner is coming, brother cute, looking for recommended tickets. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The source has no content or has errors. 4. Chapter 4. No insiders, here are some golden fingers, for recommended votes. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The source has no content or has errors. 5. Chapter 5 suggests changing to too many elements, request recommendation ticket. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5 suggests changing to too many elements, please request a recommendation ticket. As I mentioned before, Lu Yi has received professional training and will not laugh no matter how funny he is. But this golden finger still made the corners of Lu Ye's mouth rise recklessly. I said, how can a traveler not bring their own golden finger? Let me come to Qinglv, what exactly is the use of this system? Before Lu Ye's eyes, faint words appeared, and the effect was probably similar to the attribute bar in virtual online games. Existing BP point. 1720, click to view details and obtain detailed sources of BP. View details. Video playback exceeds 100W, BP points plus 1000, live broadcast room popularity surpasses 100,000, BP points plus 50, eating, ordinary, scallion duck cuisine, BP point plus 20. I can probably understand the first few things. Can we also add BP points to eating scallion duck? BP points, also known as battle points, can enhance the host's physical fitness by consuming high-quality cuisine and provide an equal amount of BP points for the host, complete system tasks, unlock achievements, engage in elf battles, and meet hidden conditions to earn BP points. The system uses mechanical sounds to answer with emotion. Lu Yi held onto his forehead with a headache and said, what's the relationship between BP points and video playback volume? Using the internet to expand influence is one of the essential qualities for legendary trainers. I didn't want to be a trainer. The system remained silent for a long time, slowly emerging a row of text. This system, also known as the Legendary Trainer Development System, once bound, no returns are allowed. Please check your account carefully. Do you dare to do some manipulation in the mortal world? Lu Yi twitched his lips and finally let out a long sigh. Forget it, being an anchor can also accumulate BP points, which is considered a common goal. Starting from today, this system will be called the Super Anchor Cultivation System, whoever approves or opposes it. Ding! Did you spend 1000 BP to rename the system as the Super Anchor Cultivation System? Yes/no. A total of only over 2000 BP, changing the name would require 1000 BP, keep operating. No, said Lu Yeli with a strong aura, it's just a broken system, can it still force me to become a trainer? The system remained silent for a while and took the initiative to jump out of the lottery screen for Lu Yi. Existing features. 10 consecutive draws, store. First 10 consecutive guaranteed SR, limited time discount in progress. Are you the planner of a pig factory or a goose factory? Do you need to make a first deposit of 6 yuan and then open a battle token gift package? Lu Yi was furious, but still couldn't control his hand and clicked on the 10 consecutive draws interface. The lottery interface is quite flashy. The host can set the expression form of 10 consecutive draws by themselves, including unboxing, drawing symbols, briefcase. Are you sure this won't cause a copyright dispute? Lu Yi sneered, is this CSGO's unboxing interface? And Kai Lu and Yin Yang Master. DNMD, you stole even Hearthstone and Rhode Island's UI. Parallel world, please do not seat same number, Lu Yi said helplessly, the setting is in the form of a furnace stone card package. The UI has been set up and the explosion rate has been announced. Please check it yourself by the host, explosive rate announcement. 60% white ordinary, 30% blue rare, 9% purple epic, 1% orange legend. Lu Yi, who didn't know where to start, covered his forehead and said. Even the explosion rate has been publicized. You are closely following the current situation. Anyway, let's start with a 10-shot water test. Is it necessary to spend 1000 BP on a 10 consecutive draw? Yes/no, yes. Bang. 2 quaint style card bags appeared out of thin air, and Lu Yi grabbed one and began to rotate clockwise non-stop. Crystal debris splashed, and the card bag was opened by a mysterious force. 5 cards danced in the air. Rare out of the 5 cards, only one rare and nutritious, Moo Moo Fresh Milk, was played. Moo Moo Fresh Milk. 100% nutritious milk that can be consumed by both humans and elves. This is also Cantello's favorite drink. The remaining 3 whiteboard props are orange fruit that restores a small amount of energy in 2, peach fruit that heals poisoning. Sure enough, it's a blue sky and white clouds, Old Fei chieftain. Lu Yi, who was accustomed to it, shrugged and opened another card bag. After 3 ordinary whiteboards, the system suddenly let out a strange scream. Epic, why are you shouting so loudly? Lu Yi looked at the cards and suddenly froze. Japanese LV3. You can proficiently use Japanese and accurately use different tones, honorifics, accents, etc., Captain, don't shoot yourself. For a moment, Lu Yi felt that something had come to mind and immediately applied what he had learned. Grass, bilingual in Chinese and Japanese, according to the user instructions, Lu Yi has a general understanding of the skills provided by the system. LV1 belongs to the level that ordinary people can strive to achieve, while LV2 is a fairly excellent level. LV3 belongs to the top level in the industry, LV4 is a cross-disciplinary level, and LV5 is the limit within the human scope. Japanese LV3, even if Lu Yi imitates a Natsume Soseki-style article in Japanese, it is not difficult. Of course, imitating something is too tiring, and Lu Yi plans to have the opportunity to copy a novel by the big shots. Only the last card is left. Lu Yeping regained his mood and opened the last card. The system roared again, but the sound fell to Lu Ye's ears, like a heavenly sound. Wow! Gold rarity Lu Yi. What? I thought there was a legend, let's just keep shouting and screaming. The so-called called golden rarity is nothing more than a can of alkaloids, also known as speed enhancers, a suspicious blue beverage. Speed booster, enhanced edition. It can increase the speed value of sprites to a certain extent, and the enhanced edition has a more significant effect. It is not recommended for humans to drink. Drink it, you will run even faster than Hong Kong journalists. Lu Yi. This industry introduction always feels like something's going to happen. Although it is written as not recommended for human consumption, the introduction is eager for Lu Yi to finish it. After pondering for a long time, Lu Yi finally stuffed the suspicious blue beverage into the cabinet. Wait until you have tamed the first elf, then let it drink and give it a try. There shouldn't be any problem with the system's production. Although it's not a trainer, it's always right to run faster. Speaking of which, the Pokémon ball hasn't landed yet. Let's go to the Pokémon store tomorrow and take a look. The remaining 720 points of BP, when Lu Yi plans to accumulate to 1000 points, he will try to draw 10 consecutive draws. Before going to bed, Lu Yi drank the can of moo milk in one gulp and smacked his mouth, it's a bit sweet. Drinking, delicious, moo fresh milk, BP point plus 40, first consumption, host constitution plus 1. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Mighty Dragon. The Buddha's Treasure. Seeking recommended tickets. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The source has no content or has errors. Chapter 7. Qinglv has been added to the chat group, recommended ticket required. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The source has no content or has errors. 8. Chapter 8. One comparison of meat causes higher damage at the same time, seeking recommended votes. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. One comparison of meat and high damage, seeking recommended votes. I'll just take a look. This was Lu Ye's initial idea. But after opening this file, Lu Yi was instantly attracted by the vast array of professional terminology and cultivation knowledge, deeply immersed in it. It's like a Tauran warrior who has just walked out of a beginner's village and knows nothing about the future, suddenly receiving a silly strategy from a leader in the strategy group. From Ghost's diet and habits to the training of techniques, every detail is as detailed as academic papers. The citation sources of the materials are also thoughtfully marked below the paper, on the possibility of incorporating the ghost genre into the study of carrying animals, by Daimu Shuecheng, Kikuko's The Source of Fear. From Ghosts to Gung Ghosts, in the acknowledgement, Qinglv mentioned that there seems to be a connection between the ghost of Kanto, the heavenly king Kikuko, and Qinglv's grandfather, Daimu Shuecheng. Qinglv utilized Dr. Daiki's scientific research method and then combined it with Juzi's empirical theory to derive this cultivation method. Qinglv seems to want to publish this paper under the name of Daimu Shuecheng, aiming to ease the conflict between the two. But in the end, it came to nothing and Lu Yi was given a free price. What a filial grandson. Lu Yi was somewhat moved. Even if it's an auction, this cultivation method can still be worth a lot of money. The cultivation manual produced by the cultivator, Qinglv, is at least of purple epic quality. Although not as good as Sakiki's, The Mysteries of the Earth, it is also a rare treasure for ghost trainers. Unfortunately, Lu Yi sighed, this thing is not of much value to me. Some of the methodologies are similar to what I guessed. Forget it, let ghosts play with them on his own. Lu Yi lacks interest in cultivating elves. But if you keep it, it's better to let ghosts figure it out on their own. The red light flickered, and a black mist of ghosts blinked their big eyes, curiously looking around their new home. Stay here and don't move around. I'm going to start live streaming, said Lu Yi, avoiding Gaisai's protruding tongue, mouth jia, mouth jia. Is it boring, Take this little book and read it. Gaisai looked at Lu Yi with an idiotic gaze. Your little book doesn't come with an illustration, it's densely packed with small characters, and it's full of academic language. Ha! Can you read? Lu Yi presented the newly printed cultivation method for ghosts to ghosts. So let me test you. How many ways are there to use the strange light mentioned in this paper? Strange light is one of the moves that ghosts can master in the early stages. Qinglv believes that ghosts born from optical pollution have a natural affinity for strange light. Therefore, the strange light of ghosts also has a considerable training space. Lu Yi is too lazy to train. You can't let ghosts disturb the live broadcast, but you can't keep it locked in the Pokeball. It's always right to let it learn some knowledge. Mouth jia. Gaisai was stumped by Lu Ye's question, and his small face suddenly turned pale, wilting and floating in the air. After a moment, Gus regained his energy and focused his eyes on the paper. Mouth jia, mouth jia. I must finish this paper today. Lu Yi nodded in satisfaction. By the way, there are tree fruits in the cabinet. If you're hungry, just dive in and eat some. After explaining Gaisai, Lu Yi went to the computer and opened the live streaming platform. Ha! The subscription volume has actually reached 60,000. Lu Yi rubbed his chin and said, in a few more weeks, we should be able to complete the task. Task, I'm really not a beauty anchor. Task description. Achieve the small goal of 100,000 subscriptions, task reward. BP 1000 points, random skill LV1, move machine, **1. Lu Yi has also asked, is this so-called double reliable? The system answers, it's not an unreliable question, it's just that. It's dirty and can fight combos with other moves. Lu Yi has some regrets. I thought I could awaken an assassin queen, a platinum star or something, but I didn't expect it to be just a stunt double. Opening the live broadcast room, the already hungry audience rushed in. Dinner is ready. Dinner is ready. Newcomers first time watching, is this the live broadcast room for the warriors? Teacher Lu, let's have another tutorial on guarding poison. Lu Yi glanced at the barrage and said, today I'll give you something different. Opening the team editor, Lu Yi dragged a silly and cute mushroom into the team, causing a series of question marks. What's the use of bamboo hat mushrooms? The race value is not high, the resistance is weak, and it is not practical. It's not as good as Bulbasaur. Let's switch to a new elf as the anchor. Lu Yi remained indifferent and clicked on the matching interface. It's broken, Teacher Lu is going to start delivering. In the virtual image, Lu Yi matched a player from the Qinglv region, with official authentication next to his ID. Master of the Baidaito restaurant in Qinglv Baidaishi, variety of dishes. Wu Chao, the grass-style museum owner of the Qinglv region. This is a real grass expert. Isn't Teacher Lu using bamboo hat mushrooms like a hatchet in a classroom? Surprisingly, the other side is also the starting lineup of Agaricus bisporus. It is obvious that the dish is based on one's personal image as a profile card. On the verdant grass field, the heroic girl with orange short hair and ears, dressed in a green shawl and brown shorts, with her belly button exposed, took out the Pokémon ball. Red light flickered, and two large and small bamboo mushrooms appeared on the field. It is obvious that the bamboo hat mushroom in the dish is cultivated more excellently than in the wild. Done, we're going to overturn. Laughing to death, no one really thinks that Teacher Lu can win over the owner of the Taoist temple, right? Not even Mengta, it's good to bring it up for a fight. In the virtual field, the mushroom of the vegetable variety launched an attack. Rushing at an extremely fast speed, the fist claws hit the abdomen at the speed of sound, directly repelling Lu Ye's bamboo mushroom by more than 3 meters. This is planting rice directly into my mouth. They all say don't use bamboo hat mushrooms anymore. Honest and practical, isn't frog flower fragrant? The situation is urgent, but Lu Yi calmly explains. The mushroom on the opposite side should be a skilled technician from Mengta. And my bamboo hat mushroom characteristic is poison therapy. The sonic fist hit the nail on the head, but Lu Ye's bamboo mushroom did not fall. The body trembled, and the bamboo hat mushroom screamed up in the sky. The injury was recovering at a visible speed to the naked eye. Sleeping trough, did this bamboo hat mushroom carry leftover food? How could it recover so quickly? It's a highly toxic pearl. Teacher Lu's bamboo mushroom carries a highly toxic pearl. Poison healing feature. Elves will continue to recover their stamina when in a poisoned state. And the highly poisonous pearl can put elves into a poisoned state. By combining the two, we have achieved almost bug-like recovery speed at present. Two bamboo mushrooms were constantly attacking each other, but one side's stamina continued to decline, and the other side's health had not yet recovered much. A series of question marks flashed through the barrage. What? Afraid? Can't afford to play, can't it? After nearly 100 rounds, seeing no hope of victory for the mushroom, the tormented variety voluntarily chose to surrender. In a series of question marks, the popularity of the live broadcast room skyrocketed to 60,000. Teacher Lu is not a good person. How clever. Both brave and perfect. Is this the legendary 10,000 poisons returning to the sect? In the virtual image, Lu Yi retrieved the mushroom and smiled a little. The poison that guards the poison is not a highly toxic poison, it is a poison that cures the poison. A large number of GIFs are flashing across the screen, the number of subscribers is skyrocketing, and the system's BP point is also continuously increasing. Listen, is this speaking in human language? Sleeping trough, even the Taoist master has surrendered. Teacher Lu is amazing. Strange, I can see the comments in the back end, but it seems that the comments section has been swallowed by Jianyang. Please recommend a ticket. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Has decided that it's you, please ask for a recommendation ticket. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9 has decided that it's you, please ask for a recommendation ticket. Kai Zhong looked at the fallen mushroom with a bewildered expression. As an expert in the field of grass, I have no better understanding of the habits and battles of Agaricus bisporus. But the opponent's reckless move caught the dishes off guard. Is using highly toxic gemstones to trigger the toxic therapeutic properties of Agaricus bisporus, murmured the vegetable. What a bold idea. In reality, It is not uncommon for someone to propose the poison healing tactic of Agaricus bisporus, but it is usually a passive tactic. The toxicity of highly toxic treasure beads can cause a great burden on elves, and even the poison healing properties cannot be fully absorbed. So grass-based trainers usually choose the skilled mushroom with the characteristics of a technical expert to enhance its close combat ability on the basis of grass-based endurance. But at present, Teacher Lu's tactics seem to have opened a door to a new world for the dishes. What if the endurance effect of parasitic seeds is balanced against the toxicity of highly toxic gems? The dishes combined this tactic with reality, and my mind began to frantically construct it. Reusing doubles to share toxicity, poison therapy can completely absorb all the toxicity of the highly toxic pearl. Parasitic seeds, highly toxic gems, stunt doubles. What a bold cultivation method. This tactic can be fully applied in reality, said Kai Zhong with a fanatical expression on his face for a moment. The breathing of the dish was rapid, and I clicked on the homepage of Teacher Lu, wanting to explore the truth. The highest ranking. 7th in the world. The dishes suddenly widened their eyes. Taking advantage of the situation, I glanced at the newly joined fan group and noticed a slight change in the color of the dishes. Surprisingly, Mr. Qi and Mr. Qi Hong are also here. And the champion green. Even they are fans of Teacher Lu. The dish was a bit panicked for a moment and murmured, Miss Ligia should know such a famous grass master, right? I'm not sure if I can ask him for advice on this year's attribute expert competition. Open the Poké ball, the red light flashes. Kai Zhong looked at his other mushroom with the characteristic of poison therapy, and began to recall the battle scene carefully in his mind. Turns out he wasn't deliberately provoking, but the essence of the poison therapy tactic is just like that. The eyes of the dish regained their firmness and they clenched onto the Pokémon ball. I need to continue working hard. After the glorious broadcast, the number of subscribers to the Lu Yi live broadcast room reached 70,000. In just one night, Lu Yi received a reward of nearly 2,000 yuan. Although the exact amount of income needs to be calculated separately, it is still enough for Lu Yi to reward himself. Taking out a can of ice from the small refrigerator, Lu Yi opened it with a growl and lazily leaned against the esports chair. System, query remaining BP points. BP point 970, due to the excellent performance of the program, Lu Yi rose nearly 200 BP points, and it won't be long before he can start another round of 10 consecutive draws. Arriving at the compartment, Ghost still floated on the cultivation manual with a focused expression, studying carefully. Like a strict teacher, Gus stared at the documents with a serious expression, and the small claws formed by the black mist held an orange fruit. Mouth Jia. As if reading some wonderful insights, Ghost nodded satisfied and bit the orange fruit into his mouth, overflowing with juice. Lu Ye's expression couldn't help but become strange. Good guy, eat academic papers. Upon hearing the commotion, the black mist suddenly closed. Gaisai turned back in surprise and immediately grinned happily, extending his tongue to lick Lu Yi. Mouth Jia. Lu Yi tried to touch Gaisai's head and found his hand piercing through the black mist, with a cold and numb sensation coming from his fingertips. Suddenly, Lu Ye's ear heard the system's emotionless broadcast. Ghost, a thin gas-like life form, if surrounded by gas, even an Indian elephant will collapse within 10 minutes. Lu Ye's face changed slightly and he said, damn it, why didn't you say it earlier? Fortunately, Gaisai really enjoyed Lu Ye's touch and consciously controlled the toxin, turning it into a mist that swirled around Lu Ye's palm. Lu Yi breathed a sigh of relief and smiled, do you want to eat any late-night snacks? Gaisai widened his copper bell-like eyes and blinked. Gaisai. Here, take your phone and order it yourself. Lu Yi handed his phone to Gaisai and took out the document that had been soaked in saliva. Glancing at the cultivation manual of Gaisai, Lu Yi exclaimed in surprise, good kid, you even took notes. Kojie. Gaisai held his phone in his mouth and lifted his head proudly. Just now, Lu Yi half-jokingly asked Gaisai to annotate the usage method of the strange light. It's only been less than 2 hours now, and the manual is full of wet and sticky saliva with underlined lines, all made by Gus himself. You're such a genius, kid. Kojia, Lu Yi didn't pay much attention and put the cultivation manual back in its original place, laughing and cursing. Don't laugh foolishly, go and order some takeout. Training techniques is by no means an overnight process. Mastering the strange light in 2 hours is obviously a fantasy. Fortunately, Lu Yi doesn't have high expectations for Gaisai, and his main goal is to save some electricity bills, mouthed Jia. Gaisai carefully placed his phone on the table, his eyes lit up as he stared at the dazzling array of delicacies on the interface, and with a swipe, he sucked back his saliva. But it still couldn't help but show a silly smile, sticking out its long tongue to lick the scallion duck in the menu. Gaisai. Is it scallion duck? I tried it last time, let's change the flavor. Lu Yi rubbed his chin and said, how's the barbecue? The lamb skewers from this restaurant seem to have a good review. Omega, Ghost's eyes lit up as a sign of agreement. Spicy, cumin, iced beer. All come to life. Half an hour later, Lu Yi set up a table by the window. The evening breeze is gentle, and the table is filled with fragrant grilled skewers that make one's fingers skip a beat. Gus mooed the milk, his face flushed with spiciness, but he still crazily licked the shiny and oily skewers. Eat slowly, no one is competing with you. Hissed Jia. Although it was a spiritual creature, after finishing the skewering, the black mist around Gaisai's body clearly became more condensed. Speaking of it. The taste of this grilled skewer is not bad, even if it's a braided sheep. After taking a sip of the cool cold beer, Lu Yi smiled and said, how did you appear here? I saw online that Ghost's habitat is not a town. Gaisai's movements paused, he tilted his head back and remained silent for a while, then froze into a pile of lamb skewers. I don't want to say it, do I? Lu Yi gently poked the black mist around Gaisai and smiled. It's okay, we'll be family from now on. The evening breeze blew, and Gus suddenly lifted his head, even the eyes were in a wave shape, moved to the bone. Kojia. Don't wipe your nose off my clothes. No. I almost got wrapped up in ghosts and experienced the suffocating African elephant in the wild, narrowly escaping. Take out the suspicious blue drink, Speed Booster, Enhanced Edition, from the cabinet as Ghost's breakfast for tomorrow. Lu Yi placed Gaisai on the ceiling as its resting bed. It has to be said that every time he opens his eyes, he can see a ghost smiling foolishly, which really gives Lu Yi a sense of security. Turn off the lights, Ghost. Mouthed Jia. With Lu Ye's command, Gaisai cut off the power supply to the room. But even Lu Yi didn't notice that after he fell asleep, a faint fluorescence slowly lit up around Gaisai, circling back and forth like fireflies. This is exactly what Lu Yi requested Gaisai to master this morning, strange light. Old books need to wait for the editor to grant permission before they can publish notifications. I would like to explain this to all the HXDS of old books here. End of this chapter. 10. Chapter 10 Dr. Yamanashi's Visit, Request for Recommended Tickets. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10 Dr. Yamanashi's Visit, Request for Recommended Tickets. The 2-day weekend vacation has ended, and Lu Yi has to return to school for classes. However, after the changes in the world line, the University of Magic also underwent earth-shattering changes. Walking around the campus, young boys and girls carrying Pokémon balls can be seen everywhere, some of whom simply let the Pokémon follow suit. Most of them are small and compact Pokémon, such as Popo, Katy Dog, Totale Meow, and so on. There are also students who ride straight towards the bear and fly by in a flash. It's forbidden to play Pokémon with each other in school. Supervise you to calm down. That's for the battle series, and your training today. Lu Yi glanced at the official website and found that there was indeed an additional trainer academy on the South Campus. Among them, Pokémon Battle and Pokémon Breeding are still first-class key majors. However, these have little to do with Lu Yi, a finance major. Although there are several elf elective courses added to the schedule, the content of Lu Ye's professional courses has not changed much. Fortunately, there was still time to review, otherwise the scholarship for this semester would have been suspended, murmured Lu Yi. That's right, while being a game anchor, Lu Yi is also a top student. Ranked among the top in the major and consistently ranked among the top 3 in the department, there is still an opportunity to compete for the national award in the second half of the year. Although he is a freshman, he has high looks and good grades, and Lu Yi has extremely high popularity in all grades. The first elective class in the morning is The History of the Divine Elves. Arriving at the staircase classroom, the classroom was already packed with people. Lu Zige, here it is. Lu Ye's roommate, Liang Dayo, who studied both law and computer science, waved at him. Although it has a round inch, the M-shaped hairline has deeply betrayed Brother Dayo, making people deeply moved. This is a strong person. Arriving at the spot occupied by the roommate's gang, Lu Yi whispered, "Why are so many people here today? The teacher doesn't even call names." Liang Dayo smiled and said, "Didn't you read the news in the group? Today's class will be taught by a foreign teacher, and it's still a Dr. Elf." Lu Yi was slightly taken aback and said, "Where is the elf doctor from?" "Qinglv region, Dr. Yamanashi." The crowded staircase classroom suddenly received thunderous applause, and even a few reporters with shoulder protection equipment crawled into the back row. A dignified old man with a mustache walked slowly into the classroom, carrying a briefcase. Dr. Yamanashi wore a gray coat with a blue velvet vest and a tie, and his gray hair was covered in hair gel. After coughing, he greeted him in English. "I am Yamanashi from the Qinglv region. Today, I will take over this class for everyone." In the classroom, a cry of surprise rang out. Liang Dayo lowered his voice, unable to conceal the excitement on his face. Dr. Yamanashi is an expert in studying evolution and is known as the first scholar of divine and mystical sciences. Lu Ye's expression was complex. "I know. Do you know each other?" "Nonsense, can Lu Yi not know each other? Isn't this the Pokémon doctor who sends beginners to the 3 houses in the Qinglv region?" Excited, the students quickly calmed down and began to listen attentively. Despite being taught entirely in English, this dignified old man's narration is profound and easy to understand, immersing people in it. The history of the gods and elves, originating from the mythological era, can also be considered a microcosm of the world's elven history. In mythological legends, the singularity formed after the Big Bang gave birth to the oldest creator deity, Arceus. Afterwards, Arthas created a deity responsible for time, space, and antimatter. On the 3rd day, Arthas endowed living beings with emotions, will, and knowledge. Just as everyone was immersed in it, Dr. Yamanashi suddenly knocked on the blackboard and said seriously, "Perhaps many of you will never be exposed to these elven histories again in your lifetime. But history is a treasure of humanity, and this is also a precious treasure for you. The key disciplines of Modu University are cultural and historical majors. I believe this is also why the school invited Dr. Yamanashi to give a lecture." While Lu Yi was pondering, Liang Dayo panicked and used his elbow to elbow Lu Yi. Dr. Yamanashi said in a deep voice, "Do any of you know the names and taboos of elves in these mythological epics?" The atmosphere in the classroom is somewhat tense. After all, few people would specifically memorize those obscure names. Placed in a parallel world, it's like memorizing several hero names from Homer's epic, and FGO players don't have full confidence in being able to call them all right. Seeing no response, Dr. Yamanashi stroked his 8-character beard and said, "It's okay if you can't say it. You can talk about your own views on the history of elves." Looking around the classroom, Dr. Yamanashi nodded and said, "The handsome boy in the front row, come and talk to him." When it comes to the word handsome, the whole classroom's gaze brushes around Lu Yi. Dayugo gloated and elbowed Lu Yi, holding back his laughter wildly, as if tears were streaming through his eyes. "If it weren't for the hairline, why wouldn't Dayu be a beautiful man?" "Teacher, can I answer the previous question?" "Of course." Dr. Yamanashi nodded in surprise and said, "The three gods who endow living beings with emotions, will, and knowledge are Amrito, Akanam, and Yuki." Lu Yi answered calmly. "According to legend, they inhabit Shineo's Shinchi Lake, Lizzie Lake, and Rueiji Lake respectively." The classroom is quiet. Liang Daio turned his head and saw the girl in the back row staring at Lu Yi in a daze. Dr. Yamanashi was slightly stunned, as Lu Yi translated several proprietary terms in Japanese for accuracy. "Yes, you expressed it quite accurately." Dr. Yamanashi nodded with emotion and took the lead in applauding. Applause thundered, and the shutter sound of the rear camera rang, but Lu Ye's face was strange. "Is that all? Is it something strange to know the name of the divine beast? I also know the ultimate necrozma, speak it out and scare you to death. You truly deserve to be Lu Yi, the top 3 academic achievers in your grade. When did he learn Japanese? His pronunciation sounds so good. Zayanayazi, are you missing spring? Disgusting. Do you listen to the teasing in the back seat?" and expressionlessly took out a book called Java Programming Language from his bag. "Learning, only by constantly learning can one become stronger." After class, the students respectfully passed in front of Dr. Yamanashi, who nodded solemnly. A group of teachers gathered around Dr. Yamanashi, and Lu Yi also planned to leave, but was suddenly stopped. "Lu Yi, sorry, may I ask if you have any plans for the afternoon?" Dr. Yamanashi specifically named Lu Yi. Lu Yi was slightly taken aback, and was pushed forward by Liang Daio under the envious gaze of those around him. "Hello Professor, I don't have any other courses this afternoon at the moment." Dr. Yamanashi's brow relaxed and he said, "There are several professional courses in the afternoon, and I would like to ask you to serve as a translator for your peers." Suddenly, a low cry of envy echoed around. Those who are known as Dr. Elf are all leaders in various academic fields. Being able to walk with them is definitely something that countless people dream of. At this moment it was Dr. Yamanashi who took the initiative to invite Lu Yi. Obviously, this is Dr. Yamanashi's favor for Lu Yi, and we need to give him a chance to practice. The recommended tickets for the new book period are really important. Could you please ask for the tickets QAQ, end of this chapter.